Okay, welcome once again to Fruitful. My name is Jerry Halm, and the channel is Fruitful, FRTFL. Yes, Fruitful with Jerry Halm. So, we have a Fruitful Business Club, and sometimes questions come up during our meetings, and it gets exciting. I love the questions that pop up, and one of them that came recently, I want to share with you, and then when we go into the video, I'm going to tell you what I thought of it. The question was, money. Yes, I'm pushing people to go entrepreneurially, but when you ask people what is your biggest challenge, they say lack of capital, lack of access to cheap capital, and all that. And someone then said, so without capital, it means you can't be a good entrepreneur. And I said, no, because I believe you can start with nothing. Join me in the video. I'm going to tell you why I said I believe you can start with nothing. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. On this very short video, I'm going to share my thoughts on that very issue of, can a business person, can an entrepreneur actually start with nothing? I think so. I 100% believe so. I'm totally convinced that you can start with nothing if you really want to start. What do I mean by that? Think about it. You can understand this if I give you a scenario from my part of the world. I don't know about your part of the world, but I think on the African continent, we share similar stories. So you might appreciate it whether you're watching us from Abuja or you're watching us from Nairobi, wherever. I am in Accra, Ghana, but I'm sure we share the same story. So a person wakes up in the morning, and he walks to the market center, especially the place where probably second-hand clothing are being sold. And I know we have that scattered all over Africa. Thrift, like you would call it wherever you are, maybe in the States and wherever, but ours is a bit different. Now, this guy wakes up, takes his shower, and goes to the market. Absolutely nothing in his pocket. He has to find money before he can get food. He's not going to steal, so what is he going to do? This chap is going to walk to a friend in the market who knows him, because they are all guys. I mean, they come there, they all sit, they all talk. Who knows him? And a friend might have some goods for sale. Let's use a shirt, or let's use dresses. He's going to walk to his friend and say, how much is this? And the guy is going to give him an amount. And he's going to give him an amount and say, oh, this one is this amount and all that. He said, okay, this thing is too expensive. Won't you reduce it? So if somebody gives me, 5, maybe it's 10. I don't know what currency. I don't want to pick a currency. But if somebody give me a 5, I'm going to take it. This guy's going to say, no problem. Can I have it? His friend, because he trusts him, is going to give it to him. And this happens everywhere on the streets of Africa. I'm sure in the major cities. What this guy is going to do, he's going to stand by the roadside. He's going to stand by the wayside. And he's going to now hawk that particular shirt or dress to passers-by. And he's going to attract someone's interest. And guess what? When the person approaches, this guy is going to tell the person it's going for 10, whatever. But his friend said he would take 5. If someone brought 5, he's going to convince you. You're going to say, 10 is too expensive. So, okay. You know what? Because of you, I'm going to give it to you at 8. He's going to say, okay. Then he takes the 8. What does he do? He goes back inside. He sold the stuff. He goes back inside and tells a friend that, you know what? I sold it. You said you're going to take 5. Wouldn't you take 4? He, depending on his negotiation skills, he could even beat it down from the 5 his friend is going to take to a 4. He's made 4 of that currency that morning with absolutely nothing in his pocket. So yes, you can start with nothing. You know what he had? He had goodwill. His friend trusted that he won't run away with the shirt. He had goodwill. He had a network to fall on. And in that network, he had a goodwill. Network, goodwill. Then he had faith in his ability to go sell. So he went out. Then he had the skill set to convince someone to part away with their money. So he goes out there, He sells. He started with the day with zero. By, brunch time, he has 4 in his pocket. He has 4 in his pocket. Let's use kwacha. He has 4 kwacha in his pocket, or naira. He has in his pocket. Cool. What is he going to do? He might repeat this for a while. And if you're on the street, you don't do breakfast, lunch, and supper. We don't do breakfast, lunch, and supper. You do one heavy lunch, and you're good, right? You do one heavy lunch, you're good. Nobody does breakfast, lunch, and supper like that. So he's going to do this for a while, and by lunch, he's able to get a heavy meal. He comes back, he does that again, goes to other people, picks their clothing, and does that. He goes home, he has money. He started with nothing. So this story even answers that question. Then you can start with nothing. But somebody's going to say, oh, but this is not the streets. We're talking big money. This is not 4 kwacha, 4 naira kind of conversation, or 1,000 naira or whatever. I mean, that is not no problem. No problem. Can I submit to you that the higher up you go, the easier actually this scenario becomes? It is actually more difficult to generate from zero on the streets than up there. Because up there, if you have the same things that I enumerated, network, goodwill within the network, faith that you can do it, skill set to pull it off, trust me, it's easier up there. Because up there, because of the volumes, you don't even need your own money to do anything. What do I mean by that? Okay, let's go. Someone has a big apartment that is up for rent. You see for sale or for rent, buy it. You go convince somebody and say, I have a place that I'm renting. The guys on the streets of Africa who call themselves estate agents, how many houses have they built? They haven't. They wake up in the morning, they are like the same guy who went to sell in the market. They also walk around with nothing, and then they're able to convince you. As a matter of fact, in my country, if they will even move from where they are to go and show you where the apartment is, you pay them. So you can start with nothing. I could go on and on and on. And I'm saying the bigger the deal, like somebody's bringing in a whole shipload of goods. The person brings it, he docks it at a port, in a harbor somewhere. A middleman hears of it. He said, what is in it? They say oil. He goes to an oil marketing company and say, my guy has brought some oil is on the sea, is the equivalent of this. So we need it. Or it's sugar, or it's some commodity of a sort. Nobody starts with money in their hands. They start with absolutely nothing. This person says, can I go and inspect? They go and inspect. He says, okay, we pay for it. They pay directly to a bank account. The guy gets his commission. He walks away. You can start with nothing. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to get you to get out of that mental block and get into your creativity. Tap into your creativity. Don't let no money, lack of capital, or lack of access to cheap capital become a good reason why you run away. No. Don't do that. Don't do that, please. Let's not allow lack of capital. I believe we're creative enough, and if we have a good network, we have a goodwill within the network, we would be able to make things happen, even if we don't have the cash in our pocket. And that, for me, answers the question, can you really start with nothing? Yes, you can start with nothing. And when people say nothing, I know they're talking money, right? You can start with no money, but if you have a network, you have a goodwill, you have the skill set, and you have whatever it takes, the faith and all that, and I'm sure you're going to be able to pull it off. Why do I believe so? I'm going to tell you quickly. I believe money is non-physical. And when a thing is non-physical, it means you don't need to have it in your pocket. What we have in our pocket, the metal coins and the paper, is just a representation of something which is non-physical. It's a representation of something which is non-physical. As a matter of fact, some have said it is spiritual. And yes, you can argue that money is spiritual in the sense that it is an idea. It is something that is not you are not able. It's not tangible for you to hold. The paper, the coin is tangible, but the paper and the coin are representative of something. They are not money, they represent money. And I'm saying that that which they represent is non-physical. So if it's non-physical, somebody can actually describe it as spiritual. So there is no problem with saying money is spiritual. If it is non-physical, then it actually means that you can make it without having physical money in your pocket, because you're also a spiritual being. Yes, a spiritual being. So somebody said, what are you trying to say? Let me give you a quick reason why. Because you're a spiritual being and money is non-physical, represented by physical things, you can actually go offer something also non-physical, and by so doing, you will get the non-physical and it will be represented by the physical. Walk out of your house today and say, I'm going to serve someone. I'm going to offer my service to someone. You have nothing in your pocket. You're going to offer a service. Don't forget, by definition, a service is not a product that can be held. You know, all the definitions that we learned in marketing about the characteristics of service. It is indivisible. It is, those things. This is not a lecture. All I'm saying is that spiritual beings can do spiritual stuff and get spiritual stuff back. And that spiritual stuff would be represented by some physical stuff. And that physical stuff is the paper you have in your pocket, or you have in your wallet, or in your purse. So yes, to answer your question, I'm sure Fruitful Business Club members, if you're listening to me or you're watching this, you know my stance on this. You can actually start with nothing. Be of service, tap into your creativity, have a good network, and have a goodwill within the network. Improve your skill set. If it's selling skills, improve it. If it's negotiation skills, improve it. And then and only then, you will see that you can start with nothing. Thank you very much for viewing this video on Fruitful. We've given you the words of wisdom. Please go make something out of it. And then and only then would you truly, truly be fruitful. So go be fruitful.